What's going on, guys? Today I have some quite refreshing news, at least in my opinion. A lot of my friends are having a little bit better luck finding stuff in stores. It seems like either they're getting very, very lucky or they're actually like trying to stay on top of going to every store when they open. I don't really know. Everyone's kind of playing it off like, I just walked into the store and there it was, which is a good thing. I'm hoping that that's actually the case. And that people are just kind of fumbling into product right now, because that would be a net positive. Lately, anybody who's been in the Pokemon hobby understands that going into a shop, a store, local game shop, they can expect that nothing is going to be in there for MSRP, right? But that might be changing here shortly. We're having rumors, I guess leaks of reprinting occurring. We're seeing Paldean Fates, Destined Rivals. Now, Destined Rivals was very, very recent. I know people like to say that it's been a couple of months, but Destined Rivals is still fresh blood in the TCG space, and I really feel like we should be seeing a lot more reprinting or just auxiliary products hitting the market. So we're seeing some more Destined Rivals. There is a rumor going around that we're going to have more Destined Rivals hitting shelves, and that we're also getting Paldean Fates. Now, recently in PokeRev's video, we actually saw an example of this with the Great Tusk EX collection box. Now, guys, I don't think it really matters at this point whether they are collection boxes or auxiliary products versus booster boxes. At this point, people are scrambling to get sealed product. I don't fall into that group of people. Lately, I've been going after vintage product and kind of just chasing what I enjoy most. It's gotten to a point where I literally just bought a duplicate of a card that I already own, which I have yet to show on the channel. But I got it, I wanted to compare it with a PSA 10 copy that I have, and I was just astonished at how good the quality of some of these recent graded PSA 9s are, that I'm going to keep it. And it's also making me kind of rethink my whole strategy on buying vintage in general. Should I be going after 10s, or should I maybe switch my strategy and go after 9s? One, I could get way more bang for the buck. Two, I could get multiple copies. And three, the quality is nearly just as good comparing a new cert PSA 10 to a new cert PSA 9. I have a very rare, scarce card that I'm comparing, and I'm looking at these two cards and I'm just like, dude, the quality is like damn near exactly the same. So I'm going to be looking over the card again and again, but yeah, it's making me think maybe I should change my strategy and avoid going after PSA 10s and go after PSA 9s. Now, I'm still probably going to go after 10s just for the street cred, but this is something that I stand by. I always tell people you can buy vintage cards in lower grades, but the 9s seem like they're really good value right now. So anybody who's stacking up their vintage Grail PSA 9 cards, my hat's off to you. I think that's going to be a really good strategy. It's something that I think I'm going to practice more than preach. Okay, but back to the reprint and what I think it means for everybody. So these auxiliary products, these box products, whatever they are, I don't think it matters anymore whether it's a booster box that we're going to see reprints of, which that's probably never going to happen. That historically doesn't happen. It used to happen. I think Pokemon is shifting their strategy right now. I'm not a Pokemon expert. I don't know exactly how distribution works, so I don't claim to be a know-it-all when it comes to that stuff. This is just what I'm seeing at face value. People are getting more product, it's more available, or people are just getting lucky right now. Maybe the hype is dying down a little bit. I know a lot of people, myself included, in a video not too long ago, I called for a crash or some sort of correction in the modern TCG market. If that happens in the vintage market, that's fine too. Again, I don't know if some of the cards I'm buying for my personal collection are going to hold their value, but it's irrelevant. I want the cards in my collection. I gotta have them. I gotta get them. Anyways, I'm sorry. Someone's texting me about the bar, and I have a very hard time balancing my family, my work life, and YouTube. And even now I'm getting texts about something I have to deal with at the bar. But anyways, I don't think it really matters what the products are, right? Like people are going to say, well, that's just a stupid collection box, the Great Tusky X box for Paldean Fates. That's not going to affect anything. But people are going to get these boxes, break them down. There's going to be more packs out there in circulation. There's going to be more cards maybe pulled, more bubble mews to go into the circulation. I just wonder if any of these reprints can actually bring the value down. Right now, we're seeing that a little bit. We're seeing some sets plateau a little bit. I'm not that guy that's going to throw up graphs and charts on here. I'm just telling you right now that Modern is slowing down a little bit. The hype is slowing down. All you have to do is go on eBay or TCG Player, and you can see that the hype is slowing down a little bit on some of these sets. And I don't know if it's because of rumors from reprints or actual products hitting the market, or just the hype and the FOMO is shifting into the newest, latest, and greatest thing. A lot of times people in my Discord point out the fact that, they do believe that the focus is going to shift on the next hottest thing, right? Mega Evolutions is the hottest thing out right now. So people are not as focused on older sets, Destined Rivals, Paldean Fates, Surging Sparks. It's not as much of a focus because people are going after those Mega Evolution cards, those really big, talked about SIR cards, the Lucario and the Gardevoir. And of course, God forbid I fail to mention the gold gimmick cards that I think are really not all that appealing, but they have a very, very tough pull rate, making them very rare in this modern day and age. And also so I always read your guys' comments, and someone commented, well, even if there's, and we've heard this argument before, even if there's 20,000 bubble mews, 30,000 bubble mews, 40, 50, 60,000 bubble mews, whatever that number ends up getting to at some point, that the demand is far outweighing the supply out there. And also, with pull rates being so tough, technically some of these modern SIRs, alt arts, whatever you want to call it, some of them are much rarer than cards we had in the past. And the comparison was used in this person's comment with gold stars. I think they were trying to hit me with a jab on that one, because that I love gold stars. No, I'm just kidding. Really, when you compare how difficult it is to pull a gold star versus an SIR or an alt art, I think it's a pretty fair comparison, considering the fact that they're right. The pull rates were a lot better for older sets, but it still doesn't take away from the fundamental fact that these sets were short print, right? They're super scarce, and just the production numbers in general were way, way lower. And the print quality was arguably worse back then than it is now. I think print quality now may even be better than the vintage print quality we had in the WotC and in the post 2003. Skyridge was the last set, so 2003 is when they started the e-reader EX era sets, and I think quality was still somewhat questionable in those sets. But anyways, yeah, it's a tough argument with modern and vintage. The fact remains that there are tens of thousands of a lot of these chase cards out there. So for me, the value and the scarcity, it's just a fundamental fact that is going to lead me always back to vintage. But they're right. When the demand far outweighs the supply, then you have these phenomenons. I think a great example that we can look at right now in terms of modern cards, right? I want to do a whole video on basically these Pikachu collabs, stuff like, the Poncho Pikachus and the Van Gogh Pikachu and the Munch Pikas, just all of the Pikachus, really. I want to do a whole video pretty much talking about those. But where a card is, hitting $10,000, right? Even though it has a PSA population of 2 or 3 or 4,000, that's a pretty high pop number compared to, 100 or 200 for a vintage Grail card in a PSA 10. But these cards are, the Pikachu, when we're comparing with Pikachu cards, it's kind of like it's the mascot of Pokemon. So we'll talk about that on another stream. But back to the reprints, back to what I think it'll mean for collectors. I really feel like people are missing the fact that Pokemon can still print these sets, right? People that are super, super bullish and they have tunnel vision with modern Pokemon cards right now, they need to be careful, because we can have a big reprint wave. We can see more of these copies of these chase cards hitting the market, right? For Destined Rivals, we have to see more Destined Rivals get printed. There is a massive demand for Destined Rivals, and there's just not enough supply out there. And so that would be really great. And I don't think it's a thing of like the world revolves around us in the US and we need stuff to get more printing. But I think it is an issue with the franchise kind of having to plan their moves accordingly. And, you know, we're a different market here in the West than in Japan or in China or in the rest of the world. And we're just, everybody right now in this community is just absorbing products so fast that I just think it's not that, you know, we matter so much, you need to get us this product. It's more of a fact that, like, it's business strategy. Why, you know, they have us right where they want us, but why leave money on the table? Why not just print more product? So I believe that Pokemon is working on that behind the scenes, based on the rumors, based on the fact that they are making another Paldean Fates box. Maybe the fact of the matter is that there's not going to be a whole lot. Of course, now I'm getting more calls about stuff for the bar. There's not going to be, the fact of the matter could be that Paldean Fates, this is just an auxiliary product with the last of the Paldean Fates packs. The reality is that maybe, you know, that set is far enough out where they're like, we're just giving you the last of the packs that we have, and we're packaging them in any way we can. It could be something in that sense, but I like to think that there's a major success story here coming with Pokemon Company printing more of these modern sets so that we can enjoy more of some of the past sets that people didn't get a chance to grab. I would not even be surprised if they printed more 151 right now, if they came out with another product that had Pokemon 151, Paldean Fates, Paradox Rift. I could honestly see something like that. We have seen them still releasing stuff 2 years later, right? We saw this year, I think we saw some Chilling Reign stuff, some Fusion Strike stuff. We saw Lost Origin. We saw a lot of stuff this year when they're at the tail end of Scarlet and Violet. They're putting stuff out on the shelves that is the beginning of the Sword and Shield era, or I guess the middle of the Sword and Shield era. So anything can happen. Nobody truly knows what's going on with Pokemon Company. Is, you know, are we going to get more products soon? Is this for real? Or are people, content creators, and Discords just spreading, you know, misinformation about, you know, there's going to be more Destined Rivals, there's going to be more Paldean Fates. This could be the fact of the matter is that, guys, the reality is that they're really not printing more of these sets. We're not going to see very much more product. But the alternate reality is that we're going to start seeing the shelves be more stocked with more of this modern product. And that would be a net positive, I think, for the hobby. I don't think this is like a, oh, see, we got you. All those people that are modern Pokemon card investors, we got you. Like, no, I don't think some reprints are going to affect modern card prices tanking or sealed prices tanking. But it would be nice to see prices just plateau for now. It would be nice to get a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break on modern. It would be nice to get a break on vintage as well. The entire hobby, it would be nice to take a breather on everything right now. So very excited about that. And hopefully this news finds you guys well. I hope everybody's having a great day. We have our live stream later tonight, so I didn't really intend on making a video today, but I wanted to hear what everybody had to say. Oh, Orion, those reprints are BS. That's not happening. Oh, Orion, they're going to have a Paldean Fates Great Tusky X box or whatever it's called. But those are going to be limited. They're only going to be released in Costco. They're probably going to get scooped up super quick. Like, maybe it doesn't really have that big of an impact on the hobby, but that's why we make videos, so we can talk about it, so we can have an open discussion on what you guys think is going to happen. For me, I would love Paldean Fates to get a major kind of restock, if not some kind of reprint. I still don't have the Bubble Mew. As hype as that card is, as much as I don't agree with the pricing of the Bubble Mew, I will still probably end up being that idiot that pays the top market price for a Bubble Mew, because I would like to have one in my collection. I don't think it's a mid card by any means. I don't think that it's overhyped by any means. I think it's right up there with the greats, right? I think we had a lot of great stuff in Sword and Shield, and in Scarlet and Violet, we have some very defining moment cards the 151 starter line evolutions are like, those are defining moment cards for me. The Bubble Mew is up there as well. And I know I hate prismatic evolutions, but you know, all of the prismatic evolutions as well. Defining cards. Of course, I've got my Journey Together Salamence back there. That is one of my favorite cards from Scarlet and Violet. I think it's also a defining moment card. And we have so many other great cards in Destined Rivals. And of course, the Surging Sparks, Latias, Latios, and so many IRs that I'm failing to mention right at this moment. But basically, there are a lot of amazing cards that have come out in the last era. The Bubble Mew is one of them, and this might even be adding some gasoline to that fire. But anybody that bought into that Bubble Mew and bought several copies, honestly, did well. Like that art, the colors, the shiny Mew effect, the shiny Pokemon effect in general. The Bubble Mew was a great card to get. I wish I would have bought more. Well, I wish I would have bought a Bubble Mew, but I wish I would have bought several copies of Bubble Mew. That card just seems like it's always going to do well long term. And just outside of the monetary investment value of it, the card looks honestly beautiful. I don't care what anybody says. It's a very fun, childish, very basic, like little hand-drawn artwork style, but it just hits different. I love that Bubble Mew. So hopefully we'll get a copy of that card, because I still collect Modern, but I had some doubts and some speculative theories that Modern was going to have there were going to be some major reprints, and people would shift their focus back to Vintage at some point, and, you know, eventually the hype and the FOMO would die out. But right now, Modern Pokemon is still going strong. A lot of these cards are still rising in value, and just interested to know your guys' thoughts on everything and what's going on with that Bubble Mew. Can the Bubble Mew eclipse 2,500? Has it already eclipsed that? I don't know. Could it eclipse 3,000 soon? Is that going to be the most expensive Modern card we've seen in a very, very long time? I don't know. I wonder if it's going to rival the Van Gogh Pikachu, which I think is a lot more special, honestly, in terms of being a more historical card. But and we'll talk about that when we talk about we'll do a whole video maybe on all of these Pikachu collab cards. But without further ado, I should have already ended the video, and I'm ranting on tangents here. We have a gift that one of our fellow subscribers sent to us. I'm just going to open this up real quick and go over it. Shout out to GTA Fan on eBay. Shout out to Mellow Yellow 90. I appreciate you. One of our fans and supporters sent me this nice box full of goodies. Hopefully nothing too crazy. And we got a little note here. A unique gift to a cool, unique Pokemon YouTuber. I appreciate that. PokeFam is key. And then, yeah, GTA Fan 99. They are an OG fan. They've been watching his channel for a long time. Their YouTube is Mellow Yellow 90. Aaron, shout out to Aaron. Let's go over what we've got here. We've got a Silver Tempest pack, which I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, rip this open. Little card trick. Oh my gosh, there's actually something in here. Okay, I probably should have done this on camera, but there's a Raichu there as well. I like this Raichu. We got our Radiant Serena and a Raichu card that looks dope. Hold on, why don't I want to zoom in on that? Boom, come on, zoom in. I don't know, it's having such a hard time zooming in on this, but I don't know if it's because I did two cards. There we have a Radiant. Speaking of Radiance, there is some movement on the Radiant Charizard. I'm wondering if that Radiant Charizard is about to break out big time. I always thought the Radiant Charizard was kind of sick. Is it undervalued? I don't know. That's another question I have. This Raichu done by Mizutani. Megumi Mizutani. Dude, that Mizutani killed it on this one. Raichu is sick. Any kind of Pikachu or Raichu I think is dope. And then we got a stack of other cards here, so let's go over these. We got this really dope Mr. Mime. Love that sparkly hollow. That's very nice. That's a super trippy Mr. Mime. I feel like that could be a high value card at some point. That's trippy. That's dope. We got this Lugia EX. I feel like this is from the, I can't read what that is at the bottom corner, but I think this is from the Classic Collection. I think this is a Lugia card from the Classic Collection. We got a, yeah, I remember these actually. Yeah, this is the Suicune EX from the Classic Collection as well. Some of the promos, and you know, these promos could find some value down the road. But it is cool to get these. I did not get a Classic Collection box, so this is pretty cool to see these in person now. The quality is really nice. The Ho-Oh and the Lugia look sick, as well as the Suicune, honestly. Oh, and of course, my favorite, Silver Tempest. We have a Pikachu card here. The Pikachu looks sick. This is going to go in my box full of Pikachus. I have a tin stacked of just Pikachu cards. Oh, dude, this is a sick Pikachu card. Temporal Forces. I could not grade this. But this is a sick Pikachu card. Yo, this is dope. Yo, so we have a reverse Pikachu Temporal Forces. I can definitely appreciate this card. This is sick. I don't know what you guys think about this Pikachu, but the Pikachu is definitely my favorite card out of this stack we got right here. So the Pikachu is dope. And we got something else here. I appreciate it, Aaron. Thanks for sending me some goodies. You know, so what's funny with Aaron, so they sent me a signed card. So whenever they buy cards from me, they always ask me to sign them. They have a whole little collection of signed cards. So I guess this time they asked me they signed a card for me. Oh, nice. And we got a Milotic. They're like, I like this art. I'm going to send this in. I will cherish these forever. We'll put them up on the shelf. Super awesome. We got a Poliwag, Milotic signed by our boy Aaron. Shout out to the all the OG fans and subscribers out there. We're almost at 8,000 subscribers. It's taken quite some time to get there, but you know what? We're the little engine that could. Okay, we're the tortoise. All right. It's about the final destination. It's not about how long it takes us to get there. Wow, this is really cool, actually. They sent me a graded miscut from Celestial Storm. Guys, that's an old set. 2018, right? This is Sun and Moon, and it is a Mint 9 miscut of Fisherman. Yeah, we're definitely putting this on the shelf. Let's go. Look at this Fisherman miscut. Very cool to have a subscriber that has been supporting the channel for such a long time send us such a cool little piece of Pokemon history. Look at that miscut. So this is the first one I have. I've never had one of these before. Not like cut straight from the sheet like that. That's crazy, y'all. Look at that. Nuts. So now I would say if I loved to fish, this would be actually a super iconic card. But you know what? Maybe I need to take on a new hobby. But yeah, we got this really cool Fisherman card with the Magneton below. And I guess that the Magneton below would have been a probably a rare or at least an uncommon. But dude, honestly, the artwork of this Fisherman is actually sick, yo. Like if we're going to look at a common card with like really good art, look at the background of that. He's like, there's like a waterfall and there's a freaking rainbow. Dude, he's having a blast. And with that, I appreciate you guys for watching. And, yo, shout out Aaron. Guys, I'll see you later for the late night stream. Peace.